What up,
Hello,
Pete?
Peter.
What boom boom are you talking about? The one in Thailand?
Leprechaun.
No, we're talking about AI.
Leprechaun?
Mm.
Oh, has that launched yet?
Yeah.
I am so not up to date with shit that's going on. It's like,
I think I've sold 210 of them or something already, but your gas killed everything. It was costing you 10 times more than the NFT to fucking mint it with the gas prices the last few weeks.
oh
so.
shit.
Yeah,
Is it still available?
There we go.
Yeah, there's 1,000 of them available. There's only 200 and something sold.
Okay, I'll go pick out a few then. Send me.
Yeah.
Can you send me the site or something that
Yeah,
I am so out of this.
are you in my Discord?
I got no idea. Maybe.
I'll send you the link to the Discord and you can start there.
Okay, sure. Yeah, having a kid in the hospital is no fun. That's for sure.
Oh, shit, man.
All good?
You all right?
All good now. Last week was fucked up, man.
Oh, no.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, all good now. All good now. Benny's here. Hey, Benny.
Evening, Benny.
Hey, Benny.
I'm with Luke and Cogs
Nice.
Whereabouts are you?
in Vietnam.
Oh, nice.
Lala, do you want to? I know we've got some questions to go through.
Yeah.
But before we do that, do you want to give any updates that you might have from your side, or you want to save until the end?
I'll save mine till the end. There are a few
Okay,
things I have to update, but it'll be at the end of it. Yeah.
Okay. Phil, do you want to update anybody on anything? Oh, he's not there.
Phil has loads of stuff, but I don't think. But some of them he can't speak to it.
Pete, you got anything you want to update on before I give it to Luke for a product update?
I think there's going to be some changes to the staking table. I think Lala probably has that already. Going to be published, I think, in a few days' time, right, Lala?
That is correct, on the 15th of May.
Yeah, and then I think we're targeting something by the end of this month, but keeping fingers crossed. Hopefully, we can get it all the way there.
Okay.
That's it. I think you can pass it on to Luke for the.
Okay. Luke.
So a lot of the stuff that's happened on the Vault side this week has been arcade related, which I'm sure will be welcome. But we've taken some of the feedback and rolled that in. So some of the things we've done are on the Pong tables and the chess tables, where you can reset the game. If you're losing and you want to accidentally hit it, you can flick it with your wrist. We've made it so you have to hold it in, and you have to hold it in for a reasonable period of time. So anyone that's saying they accidentally hit it is full of crap now. Don't listen to them. So I think that's obviously a welcome change. We've all hit it and it's annoying. So the other one is with the YouTube music and video screen, both in the arcade and the apartments. This video has been added, which we'd sort of partially done. We've also added search in. That was one that I've seen people request a fair bit. So if you click on search, you'll get the keyboard come up so you can actually search for music. We've added an option to change from spatial to proximity sound. So you can either have it in the apartments only when you're sitting in front of the screen, or throughout the whole apartment. In the arcade, it's always global. It's always throughout the whole arcade. We've added a couple of little cool little additions in the main arcade area. We've got some beer bottles in there, so you can drink a beer, and we've also added the donuts and the cookies in there as well. I'll get Red Pill to talk about the user portal, but we've done a lot of work on the user portal, and the district owners functionality has been added to that. But like I said, I'll let Red Pill elaborate on that. And we're still, it's a work in progress, but we're still going through the backlog of bugs and stability issues and trying to get, still working on all of that stuff and making sure that it runs smoothly. I think that's pretty much it. Phil will probably have an update on the Quest and Slam side. There's a lot of Slam stuff coming up, and there's a lot of work in progress that's not actually visible in the build yet. But are you there yet, Phil?
I am, but
Oh, cool.
I don't think
I thought I saw
I
you.
don't think there's too much to mention that I haven't already over the last 2 weeks.
Okay. Okay.
That stuff is like tournaments still being multiplayer still being worked on. For Quest, yeah, it's coming. There's not much I can mention about it yet, but I think, yeah, I won't say anymore. I can't say anymore.
I was about to mute you.
I'll just cover Red Pill on the portal stuff. So, but the main functionality that's been added to the portal is the ability to do all the district owner stuff that's in the separate V1 portal, the old portal, up until now. So that's been incorporated in. We've done some testing on that this afternoon on a really fresh build that we got today, and that's all working. So all we have to do is just get that build fully tested and ready, and then we're good to go. So I think, yeah, that will obviously get us, by bringing all that together, we're obviously in a much better position to expand on that and build that out. And then we can get rid of the old portal, which is obviously the main aim here, and just have one portal for everything. The other thing is...
I was muted, but I can quickly go over what we'll launch with that portal.
Yeah, and maybe just cover on the AI districts as well, maybe.
So what was that? I didn't get you.
Just maybe cover the AI stuff in the districts as well, because I haven't mentioned that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so for the portal, for the web portal for district owners, the main features that we will add, or that we've been testing, is first you can upload your files, like for example videos or images, instead of just NFTs. So you can choose more things to upload. Eventually, that will also be 3D files in the next release. The other thing we add is a collaboration, like a collab option, and that means if you have your NFT, but you don't want to, only have access to that management portal with the NFT, you can add RFOX IDs of other people, and then manage that district with other people. Like for example, if you have friends, you can add up to 5 or 6 people that can then enter the district management portal and make changes. The other thing is the token gating. So that's done on the portal side, which is kind of integrated in Unity now, and that allows you to select either if only the owner can go to the district if you want to change something in there, or if you want to token gate it by NFT contracts. So for example, if you want only people to go in that have RFOX World Citizen or some other NFT collection, you will be able to add that contract to a whitelist, and then inside the board there's a check before you enter the district if you hold the NFT or not. And yeah, that can open up utility and monetizations around those NFTs as well. Yeah, that's about it on the district management side for now. What we will add as well for next release is things like the AI customization. You'll be able to do create AI images and use the ChatGPT agent from within the portal as well, like not just inside the Vault, but in the portal, because we're aiming to have all those AI integrations basically accessible from the website as well. This and then things like MP3 file uploads, audio uploads that would automatically play when you go inside the portal, when you go inside the district, I mean. And we're also working on another little project at the moment for an event, so I can't talk much about this yet, but it's also something that we want to show first how it works, and then we open that up, that functionality, to district owners as well. Right now we're also integrating the AI functionality into districts that we have in apartments. That's just some fixes that we still need to do, and that will allow district owners to really customize those spaces better and put more textures into walls and so on. I think that's about it.
How do you want to do the questions that we've got delivered to us, Lala? Do you want to just read them out and I can answer them?
Yep, I was thinking of doing that. Yeah, I'll read it out. It'll be easier for you as well.
Yep. Yep.
Perfect.
Okay, great.
All right, first question. How is the progress on the blockchain side of the Vault? Setting up for a global 2% fee for anything bought or traded in the Vault, accepting token payments and NFTs from different chains. How are you doing it? Is it via an RFOX chain?
So we are working on that now. That is progressing, and we've got a what do you want to say, a system or a process to be able to implement that. So that's something that's being worked on now. It's part of our next stages going forwards. It's extremely important once we've turned the creator economy on and that we've got the portals and the RFOX ID up and humming, that all flows together. So all I can say in relation to that one is stay tuned on how we will do that. But yes, we're getting closer.
All right, question number 2. What's your strategy and timeline on connecting to a wider VR community out there? Do you think the Vault needs more polishing and experiences first?
That's a good question. So we're already talking to creators that have created other VR spaces. It's a matter of there's a complexity to that, and Luke can probably tell after me, but ultimately it's a matter of not just being able to pick something up and plonk it in. It's a matter of making sure that we've got the right type of quality standards, that the integration's done the right way. But ultimately, there is some would say it's a small audience, but there's a relatively thriving audience for VR already. And there are some VR experiences or builders that you could tap into and that we can bring across. As I say, we are talking to VR creators on other platforms about what they can do on our platform or for us / with us. So it's a matter of making sure that we've got the right infrastructure to be able to support that. In relation, I'll hand over to Luke to give you more details in relation to that. But in answer to the last part of the question, which was, do we need more experiences and more polish? I think what we actually need is more the ability for those other creators and for people to provide experiences, an easier onboarding process. I don't think that we need to provide any more sort of experiences. We've got a few things to do. What we need to do now is say, okay, we've opened up the gates for creators and builders to come in and add to those experiences and to bring more to the table. So it's much more of a you could spend forever polishing, finessing things and making sure that they sparkle and shine. But ultimately, if we've got a few good things that get people's imaginations and get the wheels running and turning, then it's just a matter of saying, right, how do we get more of those creators to come in and put their experiences in there? But again, we've also got that dubious task in the beginning of making sure we manage and balance, not getting absolute dog shit come in as well. We've got to make sure that the quality benchmark that we have set remains very high. Luke, do you want to add?
Yeah, my answer is very similar. I don't think we need more experiences to prove the point. I think we've proven the point. We've got a good cross section of experiences. We wanted to build a showcase so that creators can see what's possible. I think we've done that. There's a lot of variety. There's a lot of there's enough stuff to do, I think, in there already for people to understand what we're trying to do and for creators to get that message. What we do need to work on is, I wouldn't say polish, but we definitely have to work on stability of the core Vault and the platform itself. So a lot of the work we're doing in the short term, as you can tell from what we're talking about, is that giving the functionality to creators, giving them that ability to build out that ecosystem, and for us to offer on the other side those services and tools that they require and need to build those experiences out. So things like, as Ben mentioned, economy and services, I guess, on our side, so that platform is appealing and they want to come in and build, and they've got an incentive to build on our platform. That's the focus. As far as polish goes, I think the Vault is polished enough, but as I said, there's definitely still some stability issues and bugs that we have to work through, and that's a focus, and it's going to be a focus until it's stable. But as we've said before, we want to get to a point where that's stable. We shouldn't be touching the Vault on a regular basis. We should be building out and adding experiences, and the only thing we should be touching the core Vault for is to add more functionality and services for those creators to tap into and for those experiences to use.
Alrighty, next question. Are you closer to getting onto the native Meta Quest store? By Googling it, seems like a little bit of a hard, it is very hard to get accepted into the native store.
Yeah, it is. Luke can answer some more on that as well, but it is. But effectively, we tick all the boxes outside of frame rate stuff. So we've made sure that we've gone back over and had a look at those prerequisites and that we tick those boxes. Yeah, Luke can add some more to that.
The main thing that's the main issue we've got at the moment is performance. It's not about functionality. It's not about the way we've engineered things or back-end services that they're concerned about. It's nothing like that. It's purely about performance, which can be fixed and we're working on. But we've got a plan of how to potentially fast track that. We've got a couple of options of how to try and fast track that and get it into the App Store. But 100%, I agree, it is bloody hard, and you can tell by if you look at the numbers of apps that are in SideQuest that are sort of, I suppose, edgy, and you call our project edgy because it's new and different, and they're going to look harder at those things. It's obviously much easier to get into the SideQuest store than the core app store, but we're not giving up on that, and we are very close. There's really only one thing holding us back at the moment, and that's what we've been working on. So I think it's definitely achievable, and I think with using the VR chat example, it can be done. It's a similar setup, similar back end and infrastructure, architectural design to us. So I think it's definitely achievable, and we know what we need to do to achieve it. So there is a path to get to that point, and we're working to get there as quickly as possible.
And to the point that was raised, it is difficult. We know that, and we just saw some numbers today saying that there's been 441 apps added to the Quest store since 2019 and 275 games. So it's not a lot that get through. So we believe that if we fix that performance side of things, that we stand as a very good chance to get listed. And we've actually got a way to sort of break that down to give us an even better chance.
Perfect. Question number 4. How far away is the new user portal? Thinking for district owners' ability to modify their districts.
You want to do that, or you want Red Pill?
I was going to say Red Pill essentially answered that question before, but it's built out and there's a build that it works in. We just need to get that build ready to release. So we're very close, very close. The next release will have it in there.
So that's good news.
Perfect. Question number 5. When do you reckon RFOX can prioritize a meeting with district owners to discuss expectations, possibilities, limits, timelines, plans, etc.? Much needed, in my opinion, but it is still too early. But is it still too early for such talks for you?
I don't think it's too early. I think that we've got a very clear understanding of what we're working on. We've got a very clear understanding of what are in the planning sessions and what comes next. So, we might not always have the answers that people want, but we can definitely tell people what the plans are for sure and certain. And like Luke said just now, that some of the stuff that people are asking for is actually literally there. It's just a matter of pushing that out into the next build and making sure it's stable. So the rate of progress that we're coming along in is very fast, but we've also done it in a sustainable way as well. But, when you're putting all of the pieces that we've been building all of these years together, it's always going to be a matter of making sure that they stably connect and that they are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. So it's experimental stuff on top of experimental stuff, but we've had lots of feedback with Arcade, and obviously that's going into the current builds, but we've had it's such a simple concept to have things like beer pong and to have chess, but what's happened is if you couple fear with an arcade, a social hangout place where you can listen to music and you can go into those apartments and have a look at how the customization stuff works. As Luke was saying before, there's enough to showcase what we're trying to do and what is possible. So now it's just a matter of making sure that that's stable and giving the opening the door for the creators to be able to come in and build their experiences.
Awesome. So how close are we from a stage where creators are able to create and launch Vault Global 3D assets like avatars, wearables, pets, etc.?
It's a work in progress, and I think some of the things that we're putting in place now create the pathway towards it. I mean, we've had conversations today about it. That's how topical it is right now. So we're working towards it, but what we need to do really is get the first step done. Rather than trying to do it all at once, we need to get that first step in place, which is giving the creators the ability to make proper games with proper mechanics and being able to heavily customize those experiences. We're already sort of knee deep in that, so we need to finish that piece first. What that does is gives us the gateway and the infrastructure and the portal and everything else to make the rest of it possible. So we're working towards it, but there's a couple of steps that we have to obviously get to first. But as far as timelines go, I wouldn't like to commit to anything, but we've done a lot of the groundwork, so I don't think it's going to be hard when we get to that point. I think it'll happen very quickly once we get there.
And just to add some context to what Luke said, and Red Pill, feel free to jump in if you want to add anything. Just adding to what Luke said, I got asked a question today by some people who want to come in and deploy. They work on behalf of multiple projects and they want to deploy en masse. And the answer I gave them was, we're trying to make this as easy as possible for people to integrate. And it's kind of like a bridge. If we polish everything up and get everything 100% ready, so it's just a point and click, that takes a little while to build. If you can somehow say, all right, and we're dealing with some companies that actually have a lot of tech side knowledge and know how to get things ready. If you can sort of work on those pieces together, it can expedite the process a lot as well. So it's that balancing act of saying we need to open up enough for certain or select groups to be able to come in and contribute versus fully automating and having it packaged and put onto a supermarket shelf. So it's a bit of a bridge situation that we're going through, which is why it's hard to commit to an exact date. Red Pill, is there anything that you want to add?
No, I think you have covered it pretty well. I mean, there is a way already to upload scenes. Like if you're a district owner and you want to upload something, or you have someone that builds like a space for you, you can already do it in the portal that's currently online, and we will integrate that. But yeah, it's still relatively, I mean, not as streamlined as we want it to be. But yeah, we're working on that.
Alrighty. Question number 7. How does RFOX allow smaller creators to sell products on their marketplace, given that they must be district owners to create revenue?
So there's multiple ways that we can approach this, but ultimately, yes, we're making sure that the districts are the retail spaces, but with the creator platform that we have also will come marketplaces and the opportunity for partnerships, collabs. We've already had people in certain districts talk about also having some sort of consignment deals and setups as well. There's lots of different ways that we can combat that. We've also got the opportunity with base products as well. So, for example, if you've got avatars that are being created and you work with, or you've got smaller creators that do wearables, companions, clothing items, someone said above, pets and stuff, there is the opportunity to do that en masse or to a wider audience by using some of the pieces that are available there, like avatars and other things. So there's lots of different ways that it can be done. And I think that where we've got a bit of a different situation or a unique situation is it's not an NFT marketplace, so to speak. It's not just you put it up on a wall and stick it up there and hope that someone comes along and buys the picture or the stamp. We're talking about things that can be integrated, that can form part of gamification, that can form wearables, assets, upgrades. So this is a really cool stage that we're going through in crypto in general, because NFTs are not just going to be static pictures anymore. They're going to be they're going to have utility behind them. So it's a matter of making sure that utility is there. And realistically speaking, although we'd all like to click our fingers and have this have everything click together tomorrow, there's not very many instances or examples of where you can do that end to end, from concept ideation to right through to deployment using. And we're also trying to tackle the AI integration side of things as well, as we've seen. And again, going back to when do those doorways open and when does it become possible for creators? We've tried to go and show you a glimpse of where we think it'll go. When you've got voice prompted customization of apartment spaces and personalized spaces, that goes to show you that it's not beyond the realms of possibility in the very near future, with the way that this is all progressing, for people to be able to talk about what they want built and have it converted and built. There's already people working feverishly on those types of things across all platforms. So it's going to go from being not quite ready and people trying to click in and working out how to make that happen, to a point where we've opened up the market to a lot more people that can now become creators that don't necessarily have the skills that are required at this particular point in time. So that's very exciting.
Last question from earlier today. Is there a plan in the short term to use the Facebook RFOX Media Myanmar page for any marketing updates, information about the Vault, and so?
Yeah, we've already been doing that, and yes, there is the opportunity for that as well. Obviously, that's a localized market, but it's huge, and they've had high take-up rates for gaming, as we know, in mobile gaming. So yes, the answer is yes, and we have seeded some things and some articles there to try and sort of look at traction and rates, and we've actually got a team, obviously, there that does content in the local dialect, and we've also looked at exploring the possibilities of adding local language to content that we already produce, and vice versa, producing content that can have other languages added to it as well. So yes, it's a platform for us to use. And as we've stated, we've gone into open beta, and now we're working on the stability, and then we start the engines up for being able to market and get people in and using and confident. And I mean, having the arcade and stuff drop, again, going back to the earlier question, I think that's enough to start getting people in, and it's a great platform for socializing. And there's a few more things that you're going to mention at the end, Lala, that will tie all of that together as well. So I hope that kind of answers your questions as best we possibly can. I know that we've got a backlog of questions here as well that we'll whip through that you've put up since then. Do you want to save the updates till the end, Lala?
Yep, I think we can go through all the questions because some of these are pretty updated questions as well. So we'll go with that.
Yep.
That's all right. I'll read it out for you if you're all right with that.
Yep.
Sure. Did RFOX ID get its update? Will Vault transactions come now?
Yeah, so yes, RFOX ID is in its first version, and what we plan to build out for that is done. So we've sorted out all the issues, and that's working as expected. So yes, the foundation is there, and there's enough in there that we can start building out that economy system, and it's happening at the moment. So we're in planning for our next program increment, which is happening next week. So it'll be part of that. So over the next 6 weeks or so, we'll be building that out, and then it'll drop as soon as it's ready after that. So yes, we're ready to go, and yes, we are beginning to build that out. So that'll come very quickly.
And just before you go on to the next question, Lala, I was actually given a piece of advice during the week. Someone was saying to me that sometimes when we answer questions, we have context, obviously, that other people don't have, and we can sometimes make it sound a little bit ambiguous. So sometimes a little bit more context is helpful to people listening, because it's very easy for us because we see everything and we understand what's going on. But to people wanting answers to questions, they might not. So I think I just want to add one piece of context there, and that is that we talked about payments and payment gateways and all the rest of it and how that would all come together. And in the past, we'd very much built things piece by piece as they arose, the need arose. or they were needed, and then it was trying to string those together. But we've now got a much stronger team of people that have worked on the overarching infrastructure, and we now have those wider solutions that give us many more options and allow us to do things in one neat place rather than building 50 things and trying to click them together. So what we do is we sit in a room and say, right, now that we've settled on that, we've sorted out exactly what it is that we're going to use to underpin it, and we understand its scale and the ability of what it can do, then it's a matter of clicking the practice and the process on top of that. So it's not like the old days where you sort of, pardon the expression, but walking through a forest with a machete trying to forge a pathway, where what we've got at our disposal, what we can use, and now it's a matter of saying, all right, now we put it into practice and click everything onto that. So a lot of the bigger questions that we would have been faced with for the next 3-4 years, we now have a relatively clear idea of exactly how that's going to pan out. So that's why we're able to move a lot quicker now as well. Why updates are coming quicker, why things are dropping faster. That's because we're developing a more stable foundation.
Alrighty, next up. During the last AMA, Phil said something very interesting. VR community already has 20 million users, so this market is already big enough for RFOX at the moment. How many active users would Valt need to have to be financially sustainable, by your opinion?
Just for clarification, that 20 million number is for Quest 2 sales. The VR market is actually much bigger. Probably it's estimated to be anywhere between 5 to 8 times bigger than just the Quest 2.
Yeah, so how many active users would the Vault need to have to be financially sustainable, by your opinion? The thing is, that's a very loaded question, because the thing is, if you've got a certain amount of revenue coming in, then you'd be ramping up other things, which would mean, it's the same as like, think about, you get your first job, you might live paycheck to paycheck, so to speak, but then you get, as you go on, you improve, you get more and more salary, and you start buying better houses and better things, and you find a way to spend that. So for us, it's about making sure that the revenue streams and structures make the Vault stable and sustainable, which I guess is what your question is. For us, we've chosen to focus on the number of users and creators that we have coming in, because we know if we've got creators creating amazing experiences and engaging experiences, and users coming in and utilizing that, it's going to be a lot easier for us to then build and grow. But when you're comparing numbers to sandboxes and to spatials and to Decentraland and all the rest of it, we often talk internally about not comparing ourselves and to looking at user platforms like your Roblox and stuff, because they have mass adoption, they have product market fit, and they have a sustainable number of users. So I think that number could vary greatly, but we will have bite-sized chunks, like saying we want to get 10,000 daily users, and then we want to get 100,000 daily users, and then we want to get millions of people using the platform. So for us, it'll always be a matter of aggressively growing that user base. But until you've got, from my mind, and I'm only speaking from my mind, but until you've got like 10,000 or thereabouts users coming in on a daily basis, doesn't matter whether they're coming through mobile or headset, I reckon that's a key type of inflection point, because that shows that you've got to have 10,000 daily average users, you've probably got 50 or 60,000 engaged users that are in there often to try and give you that type of an average. And I think that once you get to a sustainable average of 10 or so thousand users a day, it shows in data that's a very sustainable number.
Alrighty, next question. Will district owners be able to open doors within their instance if a certain NFT is owned by the visitors? Example, for events. Or will such events always be fresh instances within a district?
So I think Red Pill, you might want to rehash what you said earlier because I think you touched on that already.
What this feature basically is, it's basically a pretty powerful feature that can be applied to a lot of different things. And we're starting out with the first version, which is just entrance to the district. But absolutely, if it's a feature that's requested, that you want to open up doors inside or have certain things happen inside the district according to what you hold in your wallet, that's entirely possible. And we have access to the data inside the district, so it's something we can open up at any time. So in that case, it will really come back to, Al and Michael will be talking to you guys what your requests are and you want to use the feature, and then we can adjust it and open it up also in the SDK, so you can do whatever you want. You can say, okay, if you have an NFT, you get a certain character in your game, for example, or if you have an NFT, it could be like all kinds of things, like you can open, as you said, doors, you can give the users points or whatever it is. So I think we're just starting with the first very basic option of that, and then it can be expanded, that feature.
There you go. Another question. One piece of constructive criticism I have VR, you could say it is another console, Switch, PSVR, mobile, Xbox, etc. What VR needs is to stand out is more functionality like making phones text messages, broadband internet, so I can put on my headset in the middle of a paddock, and as long as I have coverage, etc., it'll work. Would RFOX release a VR headset console with all the functionalities?
Yeah, it's something we've talked about a lot. I think that whole social side of things, but also being able to bridge the non-VR metaverse world with the normal world is really important. And it's something that's missing, I think, from a lot of projects. I don't really think about the fact that people are not going to spend their entire lives in the metaverse. It doesn't matter how comfortable headsets are. It doesn't matter how good the tech is and how cool that experience is. You're just not going to do that. You have to have a life, right? So, but that doesn't mean you don't want to be in touch with those people inside of that are inside the vault and are having that experience at that time. And I think that connection and that bridge is incredibly important, and it's something we're very mindful of and have talked a lot about. I don't even think it's necessarily particularly hard, but it's something that I think gets overlooked because the focus is on the experience itself. And one of the examples I used when we first started talking about this was my son plays games with a phone on his chest. He lies back in his chair with a phone on his chest, which I asked him about, and it's because not only is the voice and comm side of the games lacking in a lot of games, especially games where you'd expect to be able to talk to your friends while you're playing. It's even that is not even there. But to extend that to when he gets off the couch and goes downstairs to have dinner and wants to continue that conversation, that's impossible. That doesn't exist in almost any game, and especially not in metaverses and open world games. So having that ability to stay connected, still communicate, and still feel like you're part of it when you're away from that experience, I think is incredibly important, and will be a real point of differentiation for any projects that can get that right.
Yeah, a lot of the games out there don't implement that because it's a conscious decision, right? It's not easy and it's not cheap as well.
Yep. Next question. What updates do C11 now have? Anyone from the council would like to jump in on that?
I guess it's on me, right?
Yep.
No one trusts Shane to talk. So yeah, a couple updates. I mean, obviously we just announced within this last week, I think, since the AMA Rumble Kong League. That's a big one for us. We had 3 projects that we kind of had up on a pinboard theoretically of if we could get one of the 3, we'd be really happy. So they were one of the 3 which we got, which is incredible. For those that don't know that project, please have a look into it. But they've got a few investors from different VC firms, and they've got NBA players that have obviously invested in the project as well. So I think if and when the game comes out, it's a 90s style NBA Jam style game. I I think that's going to be quite appealing. AAA, all that type of stuff. So I think it's a really good win for us. We just finished walking through or filming for another project only 10 minutes ago. It's a Web 2 project. I think a Web 2 company. If it all goes well within the next week, and we'll probably announce that one. That one's probably our most ambitious project, I'd say. Outside of that, I think we've finalised all 11 now, maybe 10 of the 11 in total. So we're hoping to just get the marks of approval and the checks off from the projects, and then we can announce everyone and get the DAO launch. So been a pretty busy week for us.
There you go. And I believe Perry had also asked a question. The ability to live stream events is important. How far away is being capable inside the vault? Will it be available in the districts or apartments first?
So we are very aware of the project of Spatial. There's a lot of similarities and things that are parallel, but there's also a lot of differences as well. With us focusing a lot on the Web3 side of things. As far as the streaming, it's very, very difficult to comment based on the fact that, as you know, we've got stuff like, let's take YouTube, for example, in the arcade. When I play a song and I want to put on Post Malone or whatever, that doesn't mean that Luke and Red Pill are hearing the same song when they're in there. They can put on their own songs. When it comes to like streaming content into the vault or a shared space, that there's a lot of legalities around that, especially if that content isn't owned or licensed. But the other question that we get is, what about going outside? So creating content or filming stuff and then beaming that to other channels is something completely different again. But as far as broadcasting things that could be shared, like if you had permissible footage, like a movie or licensed sporting event or something like that, and you were to play that, we've seen in the Dome in Calanova, you can actually beam video footage or content or whatever it might be to a communal area where people could have shared access to that. So that's more a matter of just getting the logistics of that right. Anything you want to add to that, Luke, or I covered that?
Yeah, so as Ben said, I think there's two very different things. One is, as he said, sharing that, bringing content in. One is pushing that content out. The questions I've had or I've seen in the past have all been about broadcasting content from the vault out. In both directions, the tech is there. So with the platforms in the back end we're using, that technology is there. It's almost less about the technology and more about how to execute it and the legalities of it, as Ben said. And without knowing exactly what Spatial have done and how live this actually is, I haven't read this particular article or looked at what they've done in this particular case. But the tech is there and it can be done, but it's the other side of it. Like I said, the how it's done, how it's baked in, and how the legalities of it work. Content is really tricky, as we all know. So yeah, I'll look into this and hopefully we'll have some answers for you next time.
Yeah, can I just add one little thing about it? I think the idea and the reason why I brought it up is one of the projects where that's a part of our DAO has built at their own space in there. And I think the difference between what you're trying to say is for them to build their own little space and host a little event and live stream soccer, which is what they did. They had their soccer streamed inside their little spatial space. And that is very different to a company like RFOX advertising that they can now live stream events, obviously UFC, legalities, all of those types of reasons, right? So it was more or less how it can be possible. It is obviously happening in spaces already in different scenarios, and whether or not that's an important thing. I think if we're trying to get users into the vault, what can we bring to attract them in? And I think one massive thing is the ability to have those community gathering styles with something streamed, whether it be a live event, whether it be, I won't say a movie because obviously there's rights there, but I think that is an important thing to be able to do as quick as possible, because then, yes, you can have events and it's hosted and you have those freedoms.
Yep. So that particular example, that is done and implemented, the tech is, maybe not the channel, but the tech is implemented. So, but the thing to keep in mind is a district and an apartment is very different. A district, unless you can lock that door and only let a private group in, a controlled group, having the difference between that, having a private group and publicly broadcasting something is very different. In an apartment, you can have a very controlled group, you can have your friends in there, and then it's not really any different from playing the YouTube videos in your house as you can do in an apartment right now, or us adding Netflix with a subscription or whatever else on top of that, and you playing videos for your friends. They're two very different things from a licensing standpoint. But the tech is there because we've just chosen to put YouTube in there. We can put anything we want in there. That part of it's easy, and the subscription services will be added over time, especially to the apartments. So I would say for that type of thing where there is licensing and there is the hurdle of controlling that audience and being able to keep that space private, it's more likely to land in apartments before districts. But closed events in districts are definitely something we can do in the short term because through the gating and through having controlled groups and all the rest of it, we can get over that hurdle. The technology is the easy part. It's basically there already.
Yeah, cool. I might take some of the stuff offline because we've been speaking with their builders that have built that space in Spatial that want to build it in the district. It is built in Unity. They want to be able to do it. We immediately said to them, it's great. How do we create this inclusivity rather than exclusivity? We don't want to exclude them. We want them to know that we've got something too. It's built in Unity as well. How do we bring it in? How do we click it in? So I might take it off this and chat to you about it.
And then just to join some things together, if people haven't been able to join the dots, you've seen when you walk into Slam, you've got you walk into what was a template that's sort of been chopped up and repurposed, and then you've got a doorway to the side, and people have asked, can you gate those doorways? And we've explained, yes, you can. So it would be possible to have gated areas so that people can do things in isolation for sure and certain. And again, we've been very clear and transparent on this. We want to push a lot of that onus back to the districts to say, the technology is there or certain access is there, but that's your space, right? But going back to your previous point, RFOX isn't going to blast from a massive screen in the middle of the vault to all and sundry the latest UFC event that is very heavily locked down and licensed. But if districts have certain sections with gated areas that they are doing things in, then they're going to have to make sure that they're the ones checking the legalities of that.
Yep.
I hope that makes sense, because it's not a chicken out type of an answer. It's an answer of saying we're acutely aware of some of the laws. And when you're introducing technology, people will always utilize technology to their advantage or abuse technology or try and find ways around things. And again, it's not a way for us to chicken out. We're saying we want to make sure that these instances that form the districts are things that can be run by those projects and groups of owners of those districts. We need to make sure that we're sort of saying those are independently run districts that and we run as tight a ship as we possibly can from the communal areas of RFOX. We make sure that they're family friendly and that there's lockdowns if you're doing anything that requires that. It's extremely important that we're making sure that everybody's not at risk if somebody does something that's out of place, right? So you can turn those off and say, hey, that shouldn't have happened, and you know that. But people can't come back and say, well, it was all one open space and someone over in that corner, pissed on the wall, and you're not allowed to do that, so shut the whole operation down. We've been very careful to set this up so that it is cordoned off in that fashion. So yeah, and as we know, districts and certain businesses will take risks that we would not be prepared to take ourselves, and we need to move towards an environment where we're saying it's not a completely centralised project controlled by 6 people that are decision makers sitting around a table and tickets in an inbox. We need to be saying, here's a stable build, and a build that is constant, and you've got your own little worlds that you can create and build and go hog wild in. And that's what's really important, is to have that degree of separation.
All right, so I think that is all the questions. I'm going to add on my update variant. So congratulations to the 4 community members who made it to the Beer Pong Finals. We'll be having it on Friday. We have Gecko, Wrecked, Perry, and Ziggy making it to the finals. It'll be the very first time we're going to crown the Beer Pong champion. And it'll be great, whoever has a VR Oculus headset, to jump in and see how that goes. We always love having more people in the arcade, because everyone gets to test everything and kind of degen in there as well. So hang tight, because we'll be also doing a few other community events for Slam as well as for the chess tournaments. And again, I encourage everyone in the community to participate and join in, because it does help us a lot in understanding how we can improve the games. I thank everyone who's joined us for our beer pong sessions, because we learned a lot and we did adapt and implement new updates based on the feedback. Another exciting thing that's being pushed out this week would be, we're going to start pushing ads on SideQuest. And as a lot of you people have asked, how are we going to be touching on VR users? We are going straight to SideQuest users. We are touching on some of the bloggers as well as their influencers who do make reviews on types of VRs that are out there. So looking forward to having them in the vault next week. I'm sure some of you may bump into us as we do walkthroughs with some of the influencers. Feel free to say hi. Just don't be too freaky, because it'll be their first time coming into the vault, experiencing it with your friends. And yeah, look forward to seeing what they have to say and connecting everybody together, because that's what we need to as well.
Just on that, Lala, I was just having a bit of a joke with King of Cogs and Luke when we're on mute there, and I was saying, with this tournament, I will play the winner of that tournament, and if that person can beat me in a game, I'll give them $100.
Woo!
Yeah. And we were there like, none of this.
That's a free $100.
Make it 100 VFox. Make it $100 worth of VFox.
Yeah, sure, whatever. VFox, RFOX, whatever they want. But the thing is that, it's kind of like, otherwise it's done in isolation. It's like how the Americans all pull together and play basketball and have world championships and baseball world. You got to be sure you're going to win if you're going to do that shit. Yeah, exactly. So once that competition has concluded, I will happily put that up. I'm sure some other people on the team might offer something similar, but it is good to get people in there and have a bit of put a bit of spirit behind it. Aussies are notorious for what do you want to say, shit talking and putting a bit on each other. So it's good to have a bit of healthy competition in there and have a bit of a party. We'll listen to some music afterwards.
I just want someone to beat Gecko. I've been going into the beer pong and getting beaten by him way too many times already.
And XP said winner gets the story of the first 25 live. It should be the loser gets the story of the 25 live. They should be taken into one of these cordoned off areas that you can't get out of, and XP is allowed to tell it like 10 times straight. And when they're sick of hearing it, you can just have like the big honking horn going off in the background.
Then people are really going to want that permadeath feature.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The opt out.
Oh Lord.
Lucky. I think it's going to be. I think that's good. When's that final happening, Lala?
It's in our Discord events tab, but it's 9 p.m. GMT, 8, so it should be 8 p.m. your side. It's same time as our AMA today, on Friday.
On this Friday.
Yep.
Holy guacamole. All right, I'm in there. Let's do it.
Barrier.
Yeah, so I know some of those answers sound a little bit ambiguous, but guys, come in, have a talk to us, visit us in the vault, have a look around. The thing is, things are changing rapidly; they're dropping quickly, and as I say, there's things that we'd like to get more stable and more right, but we've now got the infrastructure base to be able to really sort of layer that on top. And again, what I will say in relation to the spatial question, it's not just about spatial, it's about anything. There's a lot of and I'm not commenting on what they're offering or doing. There's a lot of projects who are moving forward at a rapid pace, who are will look at doing things that might be a little bit risky or to try and get an advantage. And what we're trying to do is say, we are providing all of the elements and all of the technology that allow you to do almost anything that you want to do, but the RFOX controlled areas need to be clean, monitored, and that we're law abiding. And that's why we give you those maintainable instances to build the districts. And if certain people are taking risks or doing things, that is up to them. It's not. We're being very mindful of what we're doing.
Ben, are you in a private chat with me? Because I literally, the second you finished talking before, I'll read out exactly what I said. I said, that's easy to use as an excuse, but a competitor's doing it. So what are you waiting for? And you've literally just
All right.
You've literally just responded with exactly what I was going to ask.
I've had this conversation 3 times today, and I had a conversation with someone earlier that said, don't you sometimes get sick of the fact that other people are taking blatant shortcuts or cutting corners and they are getting ahead, and it looks like they're more innovative when you know full well that you have the tech to be able to do the same thing, but you're choosing not to. And I think the difference is, for the most part, is that we're planning on being around for a long period of time and doing this the right way. So sometimes, as I've said many times before, you'll see something go past you on a road at a frantic pace, and you'll think, how come they're going so quick? But you also realise that there's a huge propensity or chance for them to crash or go over the edge of the next corner. So you've just got to be mindful of saying it can be done. It's just that we're not going to be doing it under the RFOX banner. If you want to do it under your banner, go your hardest.
Can I make a suggestion then, if that's the avenue? Because then I think that's going to be quite a while before you go down that path. Show proof of concept. Because yes, you're saying that it can be, and you know it can be, but find a way, if it's possible, to show the proof of concept. And if you can do that, then people know it's there. Then we can fall back on the card of, okay, well, we want to wait for legals, which we know law comes very, very last, but we want to wait on licensing and things like that. Because if you show the proof of concept, then projects go, oh shit, they actually can do it, rather than not having seen it at all. I don't know if that's a possibility, but that would be my next suggestion then, if you're trying to hold off on the RFOX spaces.
This is Luke now interjecting. But haven't we done that by adding YouTube videos to apartments and stuff? Can't we show that? Like, that shows that the tech works and we've implemented it. Like, play some YouTube that are already public YouTube videos in those spaces and broadcast that. Go for it.
I think from a web-based integration, yes, absolutely. You've shown that proof of concept, and we talk about it a lot. And I think that's harder to. Well, sorry. I don't know necessarily what's harder to do. Is it web-based integration is harder, or the ability to live stream a TV station or something from somewhere? So is it the same thing, I'm assuming, meaning they've gone and streamed a soccer event through a web-based integration? Is that the only possible way?
We can point to any URL, and that will be added as a configuration item. So basically, you can point those TVs or screens in the arcade or whatever to any URL. So anything that's web-based, which means anything, because anything that's on a traditional TV broadcast is also web-based these days. So whether it's live or not makes no difference. We can hit a URL, it'll play whatever's at that URL, whether it's a website or whether it's a video feed. none of that is a stumbling block. So if we need to point to a different URL and broadcast something that's not going to trip us up, that we can then share to show that it works, it's a piece of cake. We can do it now.
Okay, that's cool.
So if you need that as ammo, let us know and we'll make it happen. It's not a problem.
Yeah, sick. I really think advertising and showing that is massive. Like, even if we look at the RKL, for example, right? The ability to go onto KO and watch or replay an NBA final game, right? Now, is that a licensing problem if I have the KO subscription? That's what we're talking about. But if I'm in the district showcasing some stuff, I would love to be able to put on some replays of the NBA games that have played these last 2 days. That is groundbreaking. That's massive to be able to do that and go in there with people and show them that. I think that's massive if we can do that.
Well, even an example is I think it was Voltox who put together the video and showed the Eurovision and walked around the Sky apartment and played a song that was the entry for the Estonian group for on the computer screen for this year's Eurovision. Like, I didn't put that video together. I didn't film that. I didn't share that through my social channels. But when he posted that, I retweeted it and I said, "Look what someone else has put together." So that's definitely possible. He was able to bring up any clip he wanted to. So Slovenian. Was it Slovenian? Was it not Estonian? Okay, sorry about that. But you get the point. The point was someone else did what is already available and broadcasted something. Look what was showing in my apartment. So that was something that we're able to say, okay, there's proof that you can play whatever you want and you can share whatever you want. It's just a matter of whether you're allowed to do that.
Yep, that's cool. I'll take it offline with you, Luke. I don't know why we can't message, but we'll figure it out.
Yep, sure.
Okay. I know we've gone over, so thank you very much for everybody attending. Yes, we'll get Pineapple Pete will come back to you in relation to the 721C. Have a fantastic. Ben, you mentioned your work. There you go. Have a fantastic week, guys. Look forward to seeing you in the vault and beating one of you at same bat time, same bat channel on Friday, right?
How many?
I only need to beat one. I need to beat the best one, don't I? Yep. All right. See
Yeah,
you.
you just need to be the best one.
Thanks,
Thanks, everyone. Stay safe. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. See you Friday. Bye.